let's take a look at how to identify the vertex, describe the transformations, and then create a graph of an absolute value function. Okay, so taking a look at y equals negative absolute value of x minus 5 plus 2, the first thing I want to do is I want to try to identify what's the a, what's the h, and what's the k. Okay, the a is the number in front of the absolute value, in this case, negative 1. Okay, the h is the opposite sign from what we see. So since I see x minus 5, that means h is positive 5. And then the k is the same sign as what I see after the absolute value, which is a 2. Okay, so the a equaling negative 1 means that it opens down because it's a negative, and it's going to be a normal width or steepness because it's equal to 1 and not bigger than 1 or smaller than 1. Okay. And then this is telling me that I'm going to go right 5, and I'm going to go up 2, which means my vertex is at the point 5, 2. All right, so to graph this, the first thing I want to do is plot my vertex at 5, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up 2 would be right about here. That's my vertex. Now I need to open down from that point. You can think of the a value like a slope. Technically it's not a slope because it's not a consistent rate of change, but on one side it'll be positive 1, one side it'll be negative 1. So I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and then same thing on the other side, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. We want to generally go with plotting 5 points at a minimum with absolute values, so that we can make sure we're counting that rise over run correctly for those two separate slopes. Again, one is positive 1, one is negative 1, and that's because of the absolute value giving us 2 cases, okay? So that's what the graph looks like. My follow-up question is, what would this look like if I changed it to this inequality symbol instead, okay? What would happen if I have the inequality symbol? So we know that inequalities tell us 2 things. 1, solid line, dash line. 2, shade above, shade below. Okay, so will this be a solid line or a dash line? In this case, there's no equal to, so this will be a dashed line. Okay, and now it says y is greater than the absolute value function. Y is greater than means shade above. So that's how it'll be different. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this picture, or at least I'm going to try to. Oops. Oopsies. Try that again, Miss Morrow. Here we go. Duplicate the picture, bring it down here. Okay. Sorry. Still getting used to this sometimes. All right, now I want to be able to erase it, and I want to be able to make it a dashed line. So I would have drawn it with a dashed line instead. Okay, so now I have a dashed line, all right? I'm also going to extend it to cover the entire grid, all right? So I'm going to just kind of keep this going. I, generally speaking, want to cover the entire grid whenever possible. And I want to shade above, all right? So shading above, in this case, above would be straight up from the vertex is everything up here, all right? So all of this would represent all of the points that work in this inequality, okay? So make sure your shading is clear, make sure it's kind of thorough, best you can. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's what my inequality would look like, all right? So that's problem number 1.